So we're gonna jump in and look at a color project I did last year. This was for a documentary I did. It's 45 minutes long, there's 437 clips that make up this documentary. So from the beginning, the first thing on my mind was how to organize all this. So I broke everything into groups, so that way I could sort them and grade them by groups, especially for the interviews. You can see here, like, these interviews were shot on C70, so they're in C-Log 3. We had some other interviews that were shot on Komodos, anamorphic, and then all of the B-roll as well that was shot, that was over top the interviews, is all here, and then there's some Rec 709 drone footage. And so that's how I broke it down. I graded all the interviews back to back, and then just went through, put on the B-roll group, and just started going through all the B-roll. And my methodology and approach to this is you're painting broad strokes. It's not a commercial, it's not 30 seconds long, it's 45 minutes long. And so how do you create a node tree and node structure that is ultimately going to serve that purpose of painting with broad strokes? And so beginning, I kind of showed you this already, but an input display transform, and then a little bit of a vintage lens look. That stayed the same across the board, except the input display would change. And then on the post-clip level, I went into, from DaVinci by Gamut, to get into Rec 709, I went into this other space called 2499 log. And so ultimately we wanted this to feel not overly stylized. We wanted to have some edge to it, some contrast. With that methodology of like having the look, fully contained within the post-clip level, on the clip level for each one of these shots, all I did was essentially go in and, I had power windows that would bring up certain parts of the image if need be. Right here was just a noise reduction if it was needed, and then also like a post sharpen after that, which wasn't needed on this clip. Little texture, power grade that breaks down the different luminances, and so you can sharpen them each individually. And then the main bulk of what I did was just within these two nodes here. This is just exposure and contrast and my balance. And so for instance, that's with the look, with those off, and that's all I did to it. So as I was grading all of this, most of what I touched was just these two nodes. I had a saturation curve here just in case I needed to have any, like I just pulled the blues, kind of teals down here. You can see that up in the sky. Here's a hue shift. This is super minimal. I have this just creative look, and so this was just like, you can kind of see it's giving a little bit of like warmth back into the highlights. And so that's really, the bulk of what I did on this clip after I made my base look that's it right there. This still took a long time to grade, but it was way quicker and more efficient than if I just did everything on the clip level. And so every single time as I get the footage, I'm just experimenting, trying to see what serves this footage best, which serves the story the best. And as long as I'm making sure it's one of the right ways to do it, then I just run with it.